I like to tell people consistency over frequency, and people always ask me what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily about how often you post, it's about the consistency in which you post.
It's do something every week, no matter what, every week. Don't let a week go by that you don't post.
Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm super excited about today. Last week we had an awesome guest speaker. Krista was here to talk about why video. And so keeping on the topic of video, I wanted to bring on somebody who's very near and dear to me. Sabrina is one of my really good friends. She's an agent that I highly, highly respect. And the one thing I have to tell you that Sabrina has done better than most people is she has completely shifted her entire focus to one platform. And that platform is YouTube. How many of you are wanting to add YouTube into the mix of what you do? Okay. So I'm going to tell you today, you guys need to listen really, really closely to what Sabrina's done, because every time I talk to her, I just muted myself. Ha, that's funny. First of all, I can't even talk to Sabrina anymore because she's so busy. Okay. So there's first of all, first and foremost, I talk to her we used to talk probably once a week, and now it's once every 2 weeks if we're lucky, because she's so busy. And every time I ask her, I'm where is this business coming from? She has one answer: YouTube. One answer, and that is it. So we have a lot of things that she's going to go over today. I'm going to be she sent me her slides, so I'm going to do a quick introduction so you guys can see her. But I really please ask questions, because you have her right here, and I'm going to tell you. I'll just go. I'll let the slides tell you her story, because they're going to do probably a better job than me, because I could just go on and forever. But essentially, here's a couple things you want to know about her. So Sabrina is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She's in the top 10% of agents in her market. And she, I don't know, Sabrina, where were you when before you started YouTube? Where were you ranked?
I was still top 10% in my market. So,
okay. Well, good. It's helped us stay there. That's important. So here's the cool thing, you guys: 97,000 in GCI in just the past 5 months with YouTube buyers. And the thing you have to remember is Tulsa, Oklahoma. What's your average price point in Tulsa?
It's 285,000.
So 285,000. So that's a lot. That's a lot of GCI with a price point of 285,000. Also, the other thing you have to know is that you're going to see here in just a second, Sabrina does not spend any money on ads. It's all YouTube. It's all organic. And right now you can see she has 1,217 subscribers. So hopefully that inspires you. You don't have to have a massive amount of subscribers. Same goes with Instagram. I tell you this with Instagram and Facebook all the time. You don't have to have a massive amount of subscribers. You just have to be really niche and really know what you're doing. So in the last 28 days, she's had 7,600 views, 656 hours of watch time. So I asked her to break it down for me and show me what this looks like on a week over week basis. So, 43 people liked her videos. 15 shares on YouTube videos, which is a big deal. Shareable content is what you want more than anything. That is the metric I think you should always be looking for. Shareable content will help you grow more than anything else. So 15 pieces of her content have been shared in the last week. Okay. The other thing that I thought was really impressive about this was that in the last week, she's essentially had a full day of people going down a Sabrina rabbit hole. Okay. First of all, how many of you want someone going down your own rabbit hole? Carrie's first hands, Carrie's hands up, don't forget me. Carrie's me. Okay. I like people to go down the Lynea rabbit hole. It's just what happens, right? This is what we want, right? So Sabrina basically had, in the last 7 days, she had one full day of the Sabrina rabbit hole. So I'm sorry. That's amazing. I'm not sorry. I shouldn't say I'm sorry. That's amazing. 271 people a day. Okay. Remember, she has only 1,217 subscribers. So that's a lot. And no ads at all. Okay. So Sabrina, tell me a little bit more about like your YouTube success. We can go into what you think of the YouTube buyer is here in a minute, unless you want me to just keep going through these. But I think this is probably a really good time for you to talk about yourself and me to stop talking.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the introduction and for all the information. So definitely the number of subscribers, the 1,200, yes, that's not amazing at all. And I've been working on YouTube for 15 months to get there. There isn't an ad spend specifically so to let YouTube use the algorithm. It is very, very specifically niched, and it is very thought out, and there is a lot of time involved in that. But that 23 hours a day. So, I mean, when you talk about, using your time, doing something that is just giving back and just going on your time, like I make those videos. I spend, probably 25 hours a week now on my videos with research and putting everything together. I mean, it is a huge time commitment. But it's worth it because it's evergreen and it's stacking, and YouTube rewards that. So the more you do it, the staying consistent, doing all that, YouTube rewards it, and it just builds and builds and builds. So I have really seen, like in the past 5 months, 97 GCI, which is a lot in my market. I'm getting more and more calls every single day because of that consistency, because of that niche down. And I purposefully don't share my YouTube with anybody. In fact, if my friends ever ask me or talk to me about YouTube, I'm like, don't get on my channel. I don't want you to mess up my algorithm. Because I want it, like right now it's finding people who are wanting to relocate to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like it is that niche specific. So those videos, I'm not great on video, guys. Those videos are not by any stretch amazing. But they are very informative and give a lot of information. They're usually like 12 minutes long. I have some that are as much as 50 minutes long. And people want that information so much because they are researching Tulsa, Oklahoma, and YouTube is putting it in front of the right people because I haven't ran any ads behind it. I've stuck with the niche, and I have been consistent. And so it's showing it to the right people. If we want to go back to that slide, was it psychology of a YouTube buyer? Yes. Okay. So you've got to think on other social media platforms, and I do still do other social media, and I think that is, so very important. Like video is so very important. And so I definitely keep that up, but I spend most of my time on YouTube, but I don't let my other social media go because I think that's very important for my sphere. But for my relocation buyers and like a great kind of buyer is YouTube, because you've got to think on social media, it's an interruption marketing. People are on social media to scroll, to kind of, let their brain, like they've had a busy day. Like, let's be mindless and just scroll. So you're interrupting when you have ads, which I do run ads for my listings and do marketing and all that for that social media. But for YouTube, they're researching, so they are specifically going to YouTube to look up information, to learn. So that's a whole different process. People are, seriously searching you out. So they will go down these rabbit holes. And I am telling you, YouTube buyers, they are the absolute best. For one, they love you. Like they have, watched all your content. They know everything about you. They bring you presents. Like they bring me presents when they meet me. They, they're like, thank you for your time. Thank you for taking my call. Like they value you in a whole different way. It's such a neat relationship. And I love all my YouTube buyers.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
So you said a couple of things that I am curious about, and I'm sure other people are curious about, is 24 hours a week on YouTube videos. Okay, so what made you decide that was what you wanted to go in on? Because when you're now spending, let's be real. If any realtor works less than 40 hours a week, I would love to know who you are besides Alex Mayer. Okay, but let's be real. Most of us work more than 40 hours a week. So that becomes more than half of your time is spent on just one platform. So why did you choose to go after YouTube? And then did you see a decrease in your business when you first started going after it? Because that's probably a lot of objections that some people have is like, why do I want to do this? Because my business might decrease. So what about those?
Okay, so tell me that first question one more time.
Did you see a decrease in your business when you first started going after YouTube?
I didn't see a decrease because I kept up with everything else.
Okay.
But I did have, I was spending a lot of time in my business, basically not having a life.
Got it. So you basically...
I was at the time and place with, my family. My kids are in college and
so you made some sacrifices. You made some sacrifices that paid off, and that was a sacrifice you chose to make. And so now, you're not doing a ton of other things on other marketing platforms. You're doing a little bit, right? We know this. But you're not doing a ton of other things on marketing platforms. And YouTube definitely brings you the most of all your business. Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask that I thought was really amazing. Listen, I don't know if anyone else caught this, but Sabrina just said that when she has friends or other agents who want to subscribe to her YouTube channel, she actually asks them not to. And so I think that might go against what a lot of people believe. So talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. And that's a personal thing because I know there's definitely people that teach and go on other platforms and promote YouTube. But so I learned YouTube from Levi Lassick, and he did $1 million GCI his first year in real estate as a first-year agent. And that was kind of his thought process. And so that's why I did that. And so I have seen it work, and it makes sense. And the thought behind it is, if people, if you put it on, Facebook and people click on it, well, for one, they're clicking out of Facebook, which Facebook doesn't like, and they're clicking into YouTube and they have to sign in, and they're probably not the kind of subscriber that you want. They're not probably the kind of viewer that you want, because you're wanting a viewer that is researching Tulsa. Now that's like, oh, that's interesting. Let me see what they're doing. And then that also brings down your watch time, because you want, you want a higher amount of watch time. You don't want people just staying on for 5 seconds. And when you're in Facebook mode, you are, you're not wanting to, watch something and it's not interesting. It's not mind blowing. It doesn't have a lot of things to make you keep interest. It's just, very informative. So it's specifically for the algorithm, because YouTube is so smart. Have you ever been talking on your phone or talking to your husband or something, and all of a sudden you pick up YouTube and you're starting to see stuff that you were talking about on your YouTube? It's so smart. The algorithm is so crazy. So I want to let the algorithm totally find the right people. And it's a long process, but I mean, it's doing it now. When I woke up this morning, I had someone from Dallas, Texas, ask me, where's a great hotel to stay at? They're going to be checking out the area. They want to try to make time with me in a couple of weeks. I had somebody yesterday call me and say, hey, can you check out? I know you might not have time, but is there anybody, from you or your team who can check out this property for me? $850,000 property. I had 2 meetings with somebody or 2 different people from Canada contacting me about, the Tulsa area, wanting Zoom time with me. So it's just, is that right or wrong to not put it on other social media platforms? It's what I'm doing, and it's working for me.
Okay. We have a couple more slides. There's a couple questions too. Do you want to finish going through your slides, or do you want to take some questions that we have in the
Whatever
chat?
Whatever you'd like.
Let's finish going through the slides, because you prepared them so nicely. So, okay. So psychology of a YouTube buyer. Yeah. Intentional. You talked about that. Intentional versus interruption. Is this what you were talking about just now? Letting YouTube use its algorithm?
Yes. Yeah. Let the algorithm work for you. And if you guys want to, I think it's once you get to 1,000 subscribers, you can start being a little less protective. And so I think with agents too, a lot of that business can come from, referral clients. I know somebody that's moving to Tulsa, reach out to me. So I don't protect it anymore with agents. And I'm not protecting it as much, but I'm still never going to put it on other social media platforms to, go to my YouTube channel.
I love it. Oh, there we go. Okay, importance of consistency.
Yes, that is huge. So whether you're doing it, whether you're going to commit to doing it like 1 time a week, or 3 times a week, and that's what I did, and that's why it took me so much time, is I was doing 3 videos a week. Now I wasn't doing them on the same day, but I was always doing 3 videos a week because I wanted to move fast. I wanted to build YouTube fast. There aren't a lot of agents in my market. There's like 2 other agents that are really doing it in my market that are my competition. One hasn't done it since 2020, and one has recently stopped posting as much. So I'm going to be like first. And so sometimes in search results, like when you do on YouTube, when I go incognito and I search Tulsa, Oklahoma, not realtors, and there's something on TubeBuddy where you can search like what keywords to use and how to start your videos and things like that. But I'll rank like, at the top for YouTube searches. And there's like 1 million searches for Tulsa. Some of your cities, you guys will have like way more searches. But for Tulsa, there's like 1 million a month. And so sometimes I will rank at the top. And for other suburbs, surrounding suburbs, I'll, rank at the top or maybe have 2 or 3 rankings in there. So it's pretty cool.
I like it. So you said you can do like consistency, right? So
yeah,
I like to tell people consistency over frequency, and people always ask me what that means.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily about how often you post, it's about the consistency in which you post. So if you're going to choose to do 3 times a week, do you think it should be 3 days, the same day, same time every week, or just 3 videos a week in general?
I think optimally every day, the more consistent you can be, do it. I couldn't be that consistent. I wasn't that consistent. But it's like, don't get all gung ho and do like 12 videos, and do 3 a week and then not post anything for 4 or 5 months. It's do something every week, no matter what, every week. Don't let a week go by that you don't post.
I like that. Good tips. Good tips. Okay. So the next one you had was like what videos to make. It looks like you maybe had a couple of tips here on videos to make.
Yes. So when you can get on TubeBuddy, and that is a great tool. It is not very expensive, and you can do a keyword search. And so a lot of people want to do videos of their town, but if you look at search results, their town will show ID, which means insufficient data. And so you want the main town that people are searching that you're around. So my main town is Bixby, but there's not enough information to search Bixby. People search Tulsa, Oklahoma. So my videos start with Tulsa, Oklahoma. Are you thinking about moving to Tulsa, Oklahoma? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different houses and 3 different price ranges, blah, 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 blah. Like YouTube likes that. They like you to start with the keyword, not only put it in your description, and in your thumbnails, but to also be talking about, what you're saying in your description. So there's definitely some technique to that, but you want it to be the biggest area. So things I love and hate about Tulsa, Oklahoma, that will be a huge one. Frequently asked questions about Tulsa, Oklahoma. What can you buy in Tulsa, Oklahoma? 3 great videos to do. And then you can do different price point videos. So like, what can you get for $500,000 in Tulsa, Oklahoma? I go to 3 different neighborhoods. I get in front of 3 different houses. I don't go inside, but just show them, what they can get. What can you do in 600,000? What can you do in 700,000? I mean, there's literally so many videos you can do. Then start doing the top surrounding suburbs. What are the 5 top suburbs in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Jinx, Oklahoma, one of the top suburbs in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Best and things that I love and hate about it. Pros and cons of Jinx. So you can take those other suburbs, but you start with your main one first. So you can literally, you can have a list of videos to do and know what you're going to do for the whole year. Basically doing the same 3 or 4 videos.
Okay, so I wrote down pros and cons, things I love and hate. What can you get?
Mm-hmm. And FAQs.
Oh, FAQs. Okay. And then the other thing that I think was really powerful there, because I talked to a lot of people, I'm not going to call any of you out on this call, but I know I've talked to specific people on this call about YouTube, and we talk about your area, and then you will tell me an area, and I'm like, I don't know where that is. What's the nearest area, right? And the biggest objection I get is, and I was like this, you guys, when I first started YouTube, I was the same. I was like, I don't want to talk about Seattle, right? Because like, I'm sorry, Seattle is like an hour and a half from me on a good day. Okay. So I don't really want to talk about Seattle, but how many of you, besides of those of you who are, those of you who are even in Washington, you might not even know where is Bonnie Lake, Washington. Who knows? Maybe Steve, maybe Ashley, because Ashley's from here. Yeah. But the rest of you don't. There's like 2 people on this call who know where Bonnie Lake, Washington is. The rest of you might know where Seattle is. Okay. So if you were looking to move to Washington, you're probably not going to be move to Bonnie Lake, look to move to Bonnie Lake. But you might be looking to move to Seattle and then find that Bonnie Lake is a suburb of Seattle, a very long, far suburb of Seattle, but it is a suburb of Seattle nonetheless. So I think that was really, really a big takeaway there.
Yeah. And most of my buyers actually do end up moving in the suburbs. They find me through Tulsa, but I don't really sell very much real estate in Tulsa. It's my surrounding suburbs still. So that is how they find you.
I like that. And also, I have no idea where Bixby is. I mean, I do now because of you, but I know where Tulsa is. And so every time someone tells me like they're moving to Oklahoma, I'm like, where is that? How close is that to Tulsa? That's the question.
Yeah.
How close is that to Tulsa? Because of course I want to send a referral over if I can. But I think that's really important. So for perspective, how far away is Tulsa from where you actually are?
Like 20 minutes.
Like 20 minutes. Okay. See, it's really not that far.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Okay, there's a couple of questions in the chat. Bill Frasinetti said, did you take a YouTube for Realtors course? If so, which one? And you said you did, right? Levi Lashik.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Suma asked, how do you prepare the scripts, which might lead to your next slide, because your next slide is what you need to get started. But Suma said, do you have someone who writes your content?
No, I write my content. Actually, in my things that I want, I do want somebody to start writing my content. I would absolutely love that. But starting out, I just wasn't there. I had to do it myself. So, 2024, by the end of it, I might have somebody write my content. I would still want to go over it, and I would still want to, put my spin on it. But I would love for somebody, to research it. But I just research. So I go to Google and, like I do, people like to know, is Tulsa a good place to live? And then you can go down like those little rabbit holes and see, what people are saying about that. And that's always one of the questions. Is Tulsa a good place to live? And then, is Tulsa safe? What's the weather like in Tulsa? How's the crime in Tulsa? Things like that. And so you just start researching everything. You've got to think like if you were, moving to another town, like what would you want to know? Like someplace that you weren't familiar with at all. And you can find that. And, those Google searches pull up, what people are searching when they're searching Tulsa.
I like it. Okay. So Ed had a question in the chat, and then Carrie has her hand raised. So Ed said, how do you measure your success on YouTube? Like, are you using a specific tool outside of YouTube stats, or do you have like a specific call to action that you can tell people are, clicking more, even if you don't see the results on YouTube?
My watch time, I look at watch time. I look at subscribers. 1,000 subscribers was like my big goal. And it's like in comments. And like, on that side that you showed, like the shares and the comments, only 5 comments. But those comments are like, we love watching your videos. Could you record Broken Arrow from $500,000 to $650,000? Or, could you do a video about this area? So very, very interactive comments. But it's calls, it's people like calling you. I actually had a comment. They're like, oh my goodness, we love watching your videos. We are in contract in Bixby, closing in March. And you're like, oh, that's not what I want to hear. Why don't you call me? But, that stinks sometimes. But I think it's just interaction. It's the views. It's the watch time. So I can't wait till I get to 24 hours in a day. Like people watching me every single hour of the day, every day of the week. Like,
why are we almost there?
I'm doing nothing.
Yeah. I feel, aren't you almost there? Wasn't that 23?
Yes, I'm so close.
You have like almost there. Okay. Yeah. Carrie.
Hi. So you mentioned to start with like the bigger city that's known for. So I'm in Michigan, and where I am, my city is Flint. There's nothing positive about Flint. It's like, oh, did you die from the poisoned water? Did you get shot getting the mail? So would I still start with that, or should I not?
Yes. Yeah. And you could even be like, don't move to Flint. like have that be your title. And I mean, and you just go with it, have you heard of Flint?
The bad water.
All that bad. I mean, would anybody ever want to move to Flint? Really? I'm asking the question.
Oh yeah, no, it's no.
But
No.
that could get them to come there to look at you. And
Yeah.
this is where you come instead.
Yeah. And then you could say, okay, so you're not moving to Flint, but what are your options? So I would still start with that because people are going to be searching it. That's probably like if you look at TubeBuddy, that's probably a very, very highly searched town. So no one is probably talking about the real estate there. So you could easily, get to the top of that and move them to the suburbs that you're working.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure because it's like all like negative stuff about it. There's like,
What is there any other close by big city that people look at?
there's Detroit, but that's about over an hour from me. But Detroit's just like a bigger murder capital of Flint. So, like, take your pick.
I would do some research. If you want to reach out to me, we could look at TubeBuddy a little bit. And,
Okay, that'll be perfect. I just don't want to put out the wrong stuff and be like, God, she's so negative.
Yeah. Well, some things, and negativity sells. People click on negative, but you can say negative things and then give positive alternatives.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, like I think something like don't drink the water in Flint or something like that. Like those kind of like my best performing one on YouTube was Seattle is dying. That's what the thumbnail said. The title was Seattle is dying, and it was all the negative things about Seattle, like why you don't move to Seattle and why you come to the suburbs instead. That's literally all it was about. So I think there's a positive. Joy, you had our hand raised.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to type it, but my brain's not all there this morning. How do you talk about crime and schools without violating fair housing or appearing to be steering?
So I say, according to these sites, like you need to do your own research, but this site says this.
Okay.
This site says that. So I never give my opinion. I just cite information and say, you can look up things here.
Perfect. Thank you. That's very helpful. That because I always think about how am I going to do that?
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, another. You have a couple questions about editing. Do you outsource for editing, things like that? What can you expect to pay for a good editor?
Yes, I outsource my editing, and you're going to pay probably $40 to $50 for a video.
Okay, pretty good budget. Okay, we have a couple of minutes, and then you have one more thing here, and there's probably a lot of people are going to ask this question. Is like, your slide is, what do you need to get started with YouTube?
You need a selfie stick and a little microphone that you can get on Amazon for like $30. And then I would say to find an editor that will do it for, there can be some that will do it for like $25. I wouldn't edit your own just because then you will have no time to do real estate. But I do know people that do. And I guess if you were doing one a week, that could work for you. So if you had some kind of editing software, but all I have when I go do my videos is a selfie stick, and I have a little microphone that I put right here on my side that you can see on my videos, and that's what I have.
I watch your videos. I don't know. I don't subscribe to you, but I watch your videos.
And even as subscribers, it's like actually the people that watch your videos, because YouTube gives you a ton of data. 85% of my viewers are not subscribers. So that's interesting. And then you can actually see like how many, some people will just watch like 5 minutes of your videos. But say you have 200 views on a video, that's like you have 10 people that are watching the whole thing. Those are super interested people.
Okay, I agree with you. And then the other thing I wanted to ask is you have 1.1 million pending right now in buyers YouTube. So, and with a $285,000 price point, how many buyers is that? That's a lot, you guys. It's a lot. That's like,
Well, and the thing about my YouTube buyers actually is they're higher. They're higher priced in YouTube.
Okay.
You know, they're higher priced in YouTube buyers. So like I told you, I just had someone reach out for about 750,000, had someone reach out about 350,000. I'm showing somebody tomorrow. They're between 400,000 and 600,000. Was showing somebody last week that was 500,000. So they're above. They're usually, and I think it's like the research, maybe like people that do research and that are moving and have time to plan probably maybe make a little bit more money. And so I do find that, you know, for the most part, it's going to be at the minimum. I think the lowest I've ever had for YouTube was 350.
it's a good number of buyers. And I'm sure a lot, like another 1.1 million on contract right now. So there we go. Wendy got her hand up.
Yes, I love Sabrina. I just thought about okay. I was never in my property videos until I met her, Sarah, and Lynea. Like, I was, oh my gosh, they're in the video. I need to be in the video. So it's super inspiring to me, and got me to do the things that, you know, nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to do. But don't you agree that being in your property listing videos has been like huge? You know?
Oh my goodness. Yes. And Krista is the one that got me doing that. And it's like, stop the scroll, you know? And so, yeah, people love to see you in the property videos and you get more watch time. There's so much more interesting. It sets it apart. Like, be in your property videos. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Also, if you guys want to see, if you want to see some good property videos, you really should watch Sabrina and her property videos. Like, I remember the first time, like, it's just awesome. Like, kind of going back to last week when Krista was talking about video and the progression. I remember when Sabrina did her very first one, she's like, what do you think? And I was like, okay, I can give you feedback. Do you want feedback? She's like, sure. And kind of like watching the growth of just kind of, it's cool to watch the growth of your friends and colleagues on camera. And really, like, you know, it's awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was funny. I did. She's always walking down the street, right? So I told my videographer, I want to do the walk. Like, I'm like, this is my girl, and I want to do the walk, and I want the lake behind me, you know, because I want to show people like how close it is to the lake. And so we did like 20 takes because he's like, we are not at the gym. You don't. But I would like as fast as I talk, and he's like, just walk.
Like, you and I should do a property video together, Wendy. We'd be like,
It'd be like the fast to 2x my videos. They're already 2x. But yeah, that was so funny. I'm like, my friend Sabrina walks, and I want to walk. How?
Oh my goodness, I love that story.
That's awesome. So thank you.
Judith has a question. What day, time of the week do you schedule your posts?
So YouTube will tell you like when most people are watching. And so my editors do schedule my posts. I like to do it at like 3 p.m. Central Time, which is my time zone. But sometimes like just with editing and things, you can't make that work. So sometimes it's like as late as 8 o'clock, but they do perform better when I post it like 3 p.m. Central, but YouTube tells me when most of my viewers are watching.
Judith also has a really highly successful YouTube channel in Boise, Idaho. So I've watched some of the content there. So it's pretty cool to see content. And kind of back to Carrie's point, is Carrie's still on the call? Judith on her YouTube channel did some pretty controversial topics on there, and it really benefited them. So I would highly recommend taking a look at something like that, because if you say that you have kind of a negative thing, they did some controversial topics that were not controversial at all when you watch the video, but like it turned out to be really, really good for their business. So I would take a look at that.
Okay.
So, okay. Did Sabrina really walk, or is the Sue was asking, in your listing videos, are you really walking, or is the videographer doing something fancy?
No, I'm walking. We walk.
And they drink wine. I'm like, I'm not gonna drink wine again. That's fun.
Go walk and we drink wine.
Yeah. They walk, they drink wine, or they get in the pool. Like they're really, really, really entertaining. It's like goes kind of back to the whole like lifestyle, the lifestyle of the house. So does anyone else have any questions for Sabrina? We're a little over time. She's here. Okay, Sabrina, thank you so much. So much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And then just continuing next week on the YouTube topic, Tara Roy is going to be here teaching you how to actually create very clickable, like if you want clickbaity thumbnails, Tara Roy is your gal. You need to be here next week because she's going to show you how to do it really easily too. Like she makes it so easy. So we'll be there. We'll be here. She'll be here next week. Have a great week.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.